Hi, I'm Kinsey and this is Culture Journey. Have you ever had a crisis in your country? Well, right now in Brazil, there is a crisis going on over the recent election. And I, as you know, have been studying Portuguese recently. But it takes so much more than just a language to understand a country and a culture. In fact, you have to know what's important to them. And so that is why I want to share this topic with you, because it is something that is important to Brazilians everywhere. So welcome. First, I want to introduce you to the three main characters in this story. And the first of which is Lula. His full name is Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. Silva. He is a Brazilian politician, trade unionist, and a former metal worker. He was the 35th president of Brazil, and he served there from 2003 to 2010. And he is now 77 years old. He's been married 3 times and has 5 children. For winning the presidential election, he ran 3 times and lost. But now he has won 3 times as well. He's described as left-wing, and during his time in office as president, some of the issues he tried to tackle was debt and hunger. And while those are noble goals, he also was involved in many scandals during that time. And after he was president, he was convicted for money laundering and corruption in a controversial trial. And he was sentenced to 9.5 years in prison. But he only served 580 days. That doesn't seem like 9.5 years to me, but you know, maybe counting in Portuguese is just really hard. 2022 was the first election that he was legally allowed to run in again after serving time in prison. And he did. Okay, on to our next guy. Next we have the current president, Bolsonaro, and his full name is Jair Bolsonaro. He's a Brazilian politician and he was former military. He served 15 years in the Brazilian army and he eventually reached captain. Wow. He too was arrested and detained 15 days for writing an article on criticizing the low wages of military officers. I didn't know writing an article could get you sent to jail. That's kind of scary. But also, like, y'all, why were both of these presidents in jail? Like, why? Is that just me? Why? Okay, never mind. I'm just gonna stop there. He too has been married 3 times and has had 5 children. Interesting there. He is the 38th president of Brazil and he is 67 years old. Bolsonaro is considered right-wing. And we have one more guy that you might want to know about, and his name is Alexandre G. Moraes, I hope. And he's a Brazilian jurist. And he's currently the judge of the Superior Electoral Court and something else. Is it the Supreme Court? Something like that. But yeah, he's like a big time judge. Oh yeah, and he's been married once. Okay, interesting. So yes, those are the 3 people I want you to know about. And then I'm just going to give a brief little story about what's happening with them. I'm not going to give you all the facts. I don't know all the facts. I just want to spread awareness about this and inspire you, okay? So I will link the awesome factual videos down below. But here is my take on what's happening. So, turns out Brazil has an election every 4 years for the president, and this year at least, maybe every year, they voted on October 2nd, and then the president that gets elected starts in office on January 1st. Guess who won? It was Lula versus Bolsonaro, and some people were surprised by this and others weren't, but it was Lula that won. I think it was like 60 million votes to 58 million. It was really close, and I think the really close ones are just always gonna be hard because people don't like losing. That's just life, okay? And there have since been a lot of riots and just chaos and drama, you know? I've seen it with elections in my country, and maybe you have too. I mean, I feel like anytime politics, it's just messy and it's The question is, who's the better president? What is going on here? Like, is there reason to rebel? Or what? Like, that's what I want to talk about. Many people hate Lula. That's true, but many people love him. Obviously, because 60 million people voted for him. And many people hate Bolsonaro. But many people also love Bolsonaro. Because, I mean, 58 million people voted for him. And, I mean, honestly, I kind of give these guys some respect. If you can have that many people follow you, maybe you're doing something right. Or maybe you're just getting corrupt with power. I don't know. There's corruption in this Brazilian politics right now. And, you know, some people think that there was fraud in the election. Can that be proven? I don't know. But one thing that is clear is that Alexander G. Moraes, Alexander, we're gonna call him Alexander because I'm still working on my Portuguese, okay? So he's powerful, dude, like Supreme Court or whatever, dude, and he supports Lula. So obviously that gives him some power there. And in fact, he's like not letting people like speak out against him. He's definitely using his power to support Lula. And that's something to take note of. I saw this video of people like protesting Bolsonaro too. And it was about the pandemic. And y'all, like, I don't know about you, but being president is like stressful enough. But can you imagine being president during the pandemic? Like, oof, that's hard. And so there are protests and like telling this guy how horrible he did and like handling the situation and all these people dying. And it's like, I don't know, maybe you live there, you can blame him. I don't know. But I think he deserves the benefit of the doubt because from my experience, this really wasn't a controllable thing. You can do everything you can and it's still gonna spread. People are still gonna die. And that's just part of life, and I think we have to move on. But sure, you can blame him for that if you want to, or you can let him by. But I think what's important to take here is that there are both sides. People hate them, people love them. And I want to talk about the specific peoples that hate and love these guys so you can understand that a little bit better. Lula was like, his kind of political view, I think, was shaped from being a part of like the workers' union and stuff, and like just the work he did growing up. And so, yes, he's definitely advocating to the workers' union and a lot of other people like that. He tries to advocate to the poor and try to help them, and also to like some Catholics, I think. And then Bolsonaro, he tries to reach the farmers more, I think, and definitely the evangelical Christians. He has even like campaigned in churches and stuff, and so he's definitely much more popular with that group stuff. So, and I'm going to show you a map here of kind of the regions of Brazil and who they voted for. I think more important statistics to take note of, though, is that since the pandemic, 10 million more people in Brazil are in poverty, and 30 million people don't have meals. Like, that sounds horrible. And the question is, like, Brazil is in a hard time right now, but who's gonna help that? Like, is it the president? Or is it you and me? What can we do? There's so much violence right now and fears about security with all of this going on. Is there anything we can do? Personally, I believe that we can pray. But another thing we can do is we can vote. Maybe you don't live in Brazil, but in your country, because this isn't just Brazil, this is everywhere. You might think your country is already corrupt or will never be corrupt. I don't believe there's any perfect president. Maybe you do, but presidents are still human, and humans inevitably make mistakes. And so it is our job, if we're given a chance to vote, to vote. That is the country giving us the little bit of power that we have, and we have to use that. And maybe you're not old enough to vote yet, like me, but when you are, do it. And make sure you know who you're voting for. And maybe it's voting for a really good person, or maybe it's just the lesser of two evils. But that is still important, okay? You can make a difference, okay? And don't give up. The world may look like a dark place, but there's still hope. I hope you believe that, because I do. Maybe you never heard about this, what's happening, and that's why I wanted to inform you about it. Why should you care? I hope I showed you a reason you should care, and if you really do care and you want to learn more about what's going on, I'm leaving some great links of videos and articles to check out in the description below. So I hope you enjoy that, and ciao!